Joe Rogan and Taylor Sheridan were absolutely destroying the woke snowflakes, the mentally weak people, Californians, vegans, all the rest of them in the new podcast on Joe Rogan's podcast. As you can see, this article here from Outkick says Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan, Joe Rogan unload on people who hate masculinity. Let's check out this one clip, and we also have another clip to show you in 1 second of Taylor Sheridan and Joe Rogan just absolutely destroying these mentally weak people, these woke snowflakes, the rest of the people who I just mentioned. Let's check out this one first.
People are so coddled that they have confused feelings with rights. And your feelings being hurt is a violation of your rights. And it's not.
Yeah.
You do not have a right to never be offended.
It's worse than that. They've confused hurting your feelings with violence.
Yeah.
They literally say words are violence.
Yeah,
like, well,
disagreeing with someone is violence.
You've never seen real violence then. You're talking nonsense.
Yeah. People are...
It's so true, man. I mean, there's people saying that there's like a trans genocide, like it's so many weird things happening in other countries. In the UK, I know people get jailed all the time for speech. Like they even say that they have freedom of speech. Some residents there, some people in Canada get jailed for speech. They try to say that they have free speech laws. Like I know citizens personally who say, oh, their speech is just as free as the US, which obviously in the US, we don't have total free speech either. But it's ridiculous that people are getting jailed for speech for just offending people. Like, it's not even people threatening others or anything like that. It's straight up just speech that offends people. Mean speech. Literally, like Donald Trump tweeting mean things. Like, tweeting mean things in Canada or UK, they get jailed for it. Not even threats, like no threats of violence or anything. It's just mean, offensive tweets. We also have this clip from Taylor Sheridan and Joe Rogan as well, where they went off on Californians, on woke people, on just mentally weak people in general. This episode of Joe Rogan's podcast was very, very refreshing to me. I recommend that you guys go watch the whole thing. But this Joe Rogan and Taylor Sheridan conversation was very, very refreshing. They just destroyed all of these just weirdos out there, all of these just dumbasses out there, and not in a rah-rah way, in a very just calm, concise way, a very level-headed way, like Joe Rogan always does. But Taylor Sheridan was in that same headspace as well. And it was very refreshing to watch this whole thing. Let's watch this clip as well here.
Al Gore's
Kilimanjaro
truth.
Supposed to, no snow by 2006 or something.
All bullshit. All wrong. No one guesses it right. But that aside, the problem is you're putting in new control. You're putting in a new mandate, a new narrative. This narrative is you have to do this because if we don't, we're all gonna die. Okay, so everybody has to get on board. And our patient is wearing thin, and everybody has to get on board. Why are you driving an internal combustion engine? Why are you still... Okay, but also people are making money in this conversion. You have to understand there's business...
By the way, electric cars are really stupid. Like, I don't mean that they're stupid in terms of like the way that they run, how quiet they are, how fast they can accelerate. I'm just saying they're stupid because if you like electric cars more than combustion vehicles, you probably never been behind the wheel of a really loud and fast car. Like there's no feeling like that, to drive, a fast car on the interstate that's really loud and really fast. It just, you don't get the same feeling from the electric vehicles. So in my opinion, electric vehicles are really stupid in comparison to like actual loud, fast cars. But let me know in the comments what you think, because in my opinion, buying an electric vehicle is just really stupid.
That are set up that are being positively affected by this conversion. They're going to make a fuckload of money. And those are the ones that are going to influence people to pass legislation that mandates things and make sure that we have only electric cars by 2035.
But how are we going to propel those electric cars?
Well, how about where are you getting all the fucking conflict minerals? The craziest thing about electric cars and electric everything is cobalt mining.
And lithium, it's all in China.
It's not just in China, it's in the Congo, and they're using slaves to pull it out of the ground.
Well, where you start digging into the Congo, you start getting into some pretty precious resources there in Virunga and that area. I mean, that is a World Heritage Site. It creates like an absurd amount of our oxygen. I mean, it's an extremely important region that is unfortunately extremely mineral rich.
Yeah, and the story of how they get the minerals out. This guy Siddharth Kara came on the podcast, and he was a journalist that got embedded in these cobalt mines and got these footage, this fucking insane footage of slave labor, essentially. So people have dirt floors, they have no money, they have no food, they have no options. They're carrying their babies on their back while they're mining cobalt. So they're getting all this cobalt dust everywhere. So they're all getting poisoned. They're all of a host of fucking diseases that are coming about from this toxic fumes of this shit they're chipping out of the ground. And that's what powers all of our electric devices. That's a part of it.
But the other big problem that no one wants to talk about, and I think that the debate needs to be approached from the standpoint of, we've got one side that says, show me proof that the world's going to end. I don't need to show you proof. I said it.
Right.
Do this bullshit. Okay, let's just say that we took a corner of Utah and we just solar paneled that fucker. And we made enough electricity for the entire nation. Guess what we can't do? Get it anywhere. Because the grid, we do not have the pipeline of the grid. California's maxed out. They can't bring it anymore. They've got to run. They've got to run pipeline. They've got to run wires. They're maxed out. They can't get enough power to the cities as it is. They're doing fucking rolling blackouts. They're telling people to not charge their electric vehicles in the summer.
They said that like 2 weeks after they made the mandate for 2035.
Yeah. So maybe figure out how you're going to get the electricity to the cities.
Yeah.
And I'm a big supporter of
California is just, it's actually a clown world, like a clown state. They care more about sounding virtuous, about virtue signaling, than they do actually about running their state well. Like the fact that Joe Rogan just said that, I didn't even know that until I watched this. The fact that they had the mandate for everybody to be electric, for all vehicles to be electric, no more combustion engines allowed in California in 2035. And then 2 weeks later, they announced that you can't charge, or they're asking people to not charge their electric vehicles in the summer because they don't have enough energy. Like, it's just insane to me, man. The clown world that is California, the hypocrisy, the people, like they truly just care about virtue signaling. They don't care about actually having a state that runs well, that even functions. Like that's not a functional state. If you have to have rolling blackouts because of your choices, because of the choices that the officials of the state have made, you have to have rolling blackouts and ask people to not charge their electric vehicles that you mandated everybody must be driving an electric vehicle in 2035. It's just, it's crazy. This, like, California is just not a real state.
Especially there. Throw solar panels on top of everything. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? It's free power.
Yeah, do it.
It's free power, and it does work.
It does work.
You can power your house with solar if you have a big enough yard and you have sun out, especially in LA where it's sunny all the time.
Yeah, it's inexcusable to not do it. Every new house should have them.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's just, boy, you're dealing with so many people. That's the problem. Like if you wanted to come into California right now and you wanted to manage it correctly and you wanted to fix all the wrongs and you wanted to clean up the streets and stop all the crime, like, you couldn't even do it. You couldn't even do it. There's too many people that are against you. There's too many people that no matter how badly they fail doing it in a certain direction, they're going to keep going in that direction. They're going to double down.
Yeah. And they're going to try, and now there's so many people leaving California. They're trying to come up with this new tax where if you leave California for the next 10 years, you still have to somehow pay.
Isn't that nuts?
Bro, it's ridiculous. I mean, people are leaving California in droves because of the taxes, because of all the other choices that California, the officials of California have made and the people of California have voted for. And then they try to run away. And number one, idiots try to vote the same way that they voted in California in states like Texas and Florida, Tennessee, and the rest. And two, they're trying to tax you as a California resident for the next 10 years because if people keep leaving California at this rate, they're not going to have the same, they're not going to have many people left. So they have to find a way to like lock you into a contract of paying California taxes 10 years after you leave, man. It's just, like I said, I can't believe California is a real state at this point. Like somebody has to step in and save California or they're actually going to be a third world country in 20 years down the road. It's going to get really bad over there. I mean, it already is really bad in certain areas like Los Angeles and San Francisco. It's really bad, but it's going to get really, really bad throughout the entire state if somebody doesn't step in there and actually fix things instead of just virtue signaling about stuff.
It's nonsense.
You can't do it.
No,
it's not legal. But also, you fucking criminals. Like, you suck, and you know you suck. So when people are leaving, you're like, well, we still want money. No, we're leaving because you suck. Like, that's what states are about. You get to move to a new state, and this state's got different laws. I like this one better. Bye. Yeah. That's it. We don't have an agreement where we're not paying alimony. I wasn't married to you, bitch. Like, I gotta go.
Yeah. See you later.
Gotta go. See you. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
figure it out.
I get the random California letter like, "Are you sure you don't owe us any money?" The guy haven't lived there in 10 fucking years. I haven't been there in 5.
I mean, when you have a $34 or $32 billion deficit,
you cast it out there, see if you can catch it.
You got to fucking send dudes out. Like, let's go.
But now they're talking about, here's one of the things that I've always found interesting because everyone knows this and no one says it when they talk about the top 1% of the 1% that they don't pay income tax. The average, the guy that makes 80,000, 100,000 a year is paying a higher percentage than those guys. Well, yes, because you know what billionaires don't get? They don't get a paycheck. They don't get a W-2. All those leaders all the head of this bank or that bank, they're getting $1. That's their salary, and they're getting stocks. And until they sell the stock, we don't know what the stock's worth. Everyone talks about Elon Musk is worth 140, however many billions. No, he's not. If he's tried to sell all his stock today and get that, he would collapse all his companies. Collapse them. You can't do it. Same with Bezos, same with any of those guys. So it's paper wealth. Are they extremely wealthy? Sure. Where do they get their money from? Well, they sell 1 million shares here. They sell 1 million there. Maybe they take a line of credit out off of their shares. I don't know. But they don't get...
Anyway, that's kind of the end of the California and destroying the snowflake talk from this clip here. But it was really a good podcast between Joe Rogan and Taylor Sheridan. I highly recommend you go watch the two. absolutely tear apart all the mentally weak people, the snowflakes out there, the woke crowd, Californians, and the rest of them. Let me know what you guys thought about these couple of clips that I showed you from this Joe Rogan and Taylor Sheridan podcast on Joe Rogan's podcast. Let me know what you guys thought about the whole situation. I thought it was a great couple of clips, but let me know what you guys think. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you on the next one.